Hey there, hey, Word on the Curve family. Welcome back and thank you again for joining me this evening. My name is Annette and I am your host here at Word on the Curve. You can see us on Facebook at Word on the Curve Podcast. You can see us at YouTube, Word on the Curve Podcast Studio, and you can see us on Blurberry, Spotify, and Apple. Thank you for joining us here this evening. It's been a busy day. And I just want to hop on for a minute and chat a little bit about family and holidays. But give me a second, please. We are in no man's land. And when we're in no man's land, we have to make sure we turn off all other Wi Fi's so that we don't go blank. Again, my name is Annette. I am your host here at Word on the Curve. Please see us on YouTube and hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Tonight, we're going to be quick. We're talking about the holidays and the stress it creates. And, I was doing some research because, I have a think tank group and we often discuss certain things, relationships, family, um, jobs, Black women, the struggles we face. We talk about those things and we talk about what's going on, politically. So we try to be a little well rounded in our think tank group, and I am incredibly grateful for it. But tonight we're talking about families, and we're talking about what the holiday brings us in terms of stress and a little bit of anxiety. And so I asked Richard, who's from Philadelphia, I asked Richard, why do you think that is? He said, well, I can't speak for anybody else but myself. And here's what I want you to know. He said, holidays are stressful for me because I have a lot of unresolved trauma with my family. I thought that was interesting. I think we all have a little bit of trauma with our family now and again, except for those perfect families. Can't speak for them either. I can only speak for my normally dysfunctional family. we're a lovely dysfunctional family. We're not perfect, but we're good people. And so he talked about his unresolved trauma. And I thought that was interesting. And so, I looked at some things and I went back to my social worker roots, and here I am tonight. Holidays and the stress. What causes it? The first thing I think that attributes to our stress is that there's so much running around to do during this season, whether it's volunteering, being politically active, being socially, in a social justice activism role. There's just so much to think about and consider. And with that in mind, we recognize that there is, childhood trauma. And so, for those of you who are suffering that, I hope that you'll get everything you need, to heal and come through this holiday season okay. But there's a lot of running around to do during this time. And one of the things to do that I found that works for me, because I have a big family and a big blended family, is, I have to learn how to navigate, what I'm going to be doing. I can't control everything that happens around me. And the only person I can control is me. But sometimes we expect, a little bit too much, during this season, and we get involved in stuff that kind of drains our energy. So to help me navigate, I have to remember that I can't do everything. I just can't. And, the other thing I have to consider during this holiday time is like who I'm going to be around in terms of family and friends. One thing I know for sure is whoever I'm going to be around, I'm not going to have any unrealistic expectations of them. And by that, I mean, if I had an uncle that was misbehaving last year, 9 times out of 10, unless something tremendous has happened, like therapy or getting help or dealing with the situation that presented last year, he's 9 times out of 10, that uncle's going to act up again this year. And so is that cousin. And so is that sister or brother or family member or aunt or uncle. Whatever happened last year, just don't go into this season with expectations. Remember to hydrate, especially for those of us who have severe allergies and severe dry eyes. We must hydrate. And so, when we think about family and even friends, we have to prepare. This is a busy time. We have to prepare. And it can be stressful and it can create anxiety. I don't care what holiday you celebrate or not. This time of year can be extremely stressful. It gets pitch black dark in a blink of an eye. And, we have tons of things to do. So just going, to family events and expecting, family members to behave is almost irresponsible on our part. Because if they didn't behave last year, or at the family barbecue, or at the pool party, the get together, the baby shower, the bridal shower, the wedding, the funeral, what makes you think they're going to behave now? Think they learned their lesson? I wouldn't bank on it. And expecting that to be so creates anxiety all by itself. So we have to remember that. I have to prepare accurately for what's going to happen. When people are able to get, you know, uh, expectations out the way, it helps for a lot smoother, time with family and friends. And family and friends can create the same issues. It's no different. Whenever you're gathering with people, you can expect some interactions or some estranged family members or friends that you might run into at family events. And, you know, these holiday seasons that are going on right now are typically 1 or 2 times out of the years that you get to see people you may be estranged from. That all by itself can be triggering. And it triggers, those childhood hurts or the last family drama or funeral or wedding or baby shower or cookout. The triggers. What happened then? Some of those same things are going to happen now. And that's what we have to remember. So, before we get into it, we have to remember it's likely um, going to happen again. But this is not the time to rehash it. Holidays are not the time. Funerals are not the time. Weddings are not the time. Baby showers are not the time, to confront family members about things they did that hurt you or upset you. Just because it's a holiday time, don't expect your family to change. That's unrealistic. It's unrealistic and it creates anxiety and stress for you when you expect that your family members are just going to change because it's the holiday. Another thing that creates stress is uncomfortable questions. Sometimes about what happened last time. Sometimes about when are you getting married. Sometimes about are you going to have kids. Are you dating somebody new? What happened to the last person you were with? Those uncomfortable questions, are times when you really do have to set boundaries, especially at holiday times when you're going to see people that you typically only see once or twice a year. Remember that. You got to set boundaries, because those uncomfortable questions alone can trigger anxiety and stress, right? And so, we have to remember that. And so we navigate those things by ensuring that our boundaries are in place, and ensuring that our boundaries are in place help us get to where we need to be to have fun at these events. And that's what it's all about. Family and friends coming together is supposed to be a joyous occasion, and I know it's not always. It's not always a joyous occasion, and it's unrealistic to believe that it is or will be all the time. It won't be. And then some family events go off without a hitch. That happens. Yeah, it's called a miracle. And then you have the political questions that come up, because you always have folks in the family who or consider themselves political gurus, and they want to talk about politics. Holidays and family dinners are not the time to do that. And especially if there's a difference of opinion, because often what creates some of our stress and anxiety during holiday times is we confuse the truth with our opinions. They are absolutely two different things and should not be considered one and the same. So, this holiday season, as you navigate through these things, and considering that, family is family and people are people, not having unrealistic expectations and keeping a no judgment zone will help us have better holidays and better family get togethers, no matter why we're coming together. No judgment and no unrealistic expectations. Accept people for who they are. Take them exactly where they are. I promise you, that's been one of my biggest, good things that helps me. Taking people exactly where they are. I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to like them. I don't have to socialize with them. But when I encounter them, taking them exactly where they are helps me be a better person in those situations. And that's really, my aim. I don't want to get caught up in family events with politics. I don't want to get caught up with gossip. Nobody gossips more than family, right? Yeah. Nobody gossips more than family. And we want to keep no judgment zones. That works for me. Whatever floats your boat is all right with me, as long as it's not harming me or the people around you. Whatever floats your boat is all right with me. No judgment zone. So, this holiday season, no matter what you celebrate or not, try to relax, reduce your stress by staying in the no judgment zone, accepting people exactly for who they are as you view them, because sometimes you may view them one way and they view themselves another way. I've had that happen before personally, in believing things that I saw and experienced with people, and they would tell me, I'm not like that. Well, you behave like that. I don't know how else to take it. I don't know how else I can deal with it except to accept you exactly where you are. I promise you, you want to have a good holiday season this year, the upcoming spring and summer holidays, family vacations, those are real fun. Yep, real fun. We have a huge family and the vacations are huge. So there are multiple personalities. Just remember, your personality is not the only one. And opinions and truth are not the same thing. De stress yourself, self care, and remember that holidays are about coming together with family and friends that you love. And here's my final say: you can always refuse to go. It's called options. We all have them. Have a good night. Again, my name is Annette. Thank you for joining me here at Word on the Curve. Holiday seasons are tough. They can be stressful. They create anxiety. But if you stay in that no judgment zone and accept people for who they are, you'll reduce the storms, because holidays and family and unrealistic expectation create storms. That's right. Let's lessen that. Lessen, lessen, reduce that by accepting people for who they are. Have a good night. Have a safe holiday. And remember, no drinking and driving. Good night.